Our next speaker is Paul Silva. Paul is the creative alchemist, a coach who helps people use creativity to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary in their work and personal lives. He's an author, podcaster, retired chef, shamanic practitioner, mentor, and sober coffee fiend. His audience is anyone who wants to lead themselves to a better life. His speech title, Making a Case for Better Living.
Please put your hands together and help us welcome Paul Silva.
Down the road, hands down to my knees, screaming, please come help me. That Canadian shaman gave a little too much to me, and I'm writing a novel.
I held a mysterious package. I shifted it from hand to hand as I examined it. No return address, no other markings. And suddenly it felt like a spy getting a clue to my next mission. Would I be jet-setting to Jakarta, or would I be infiltrating a cartel in Lebanon? Ooh, or better yet, I'd be hacking into the Danish embassy mainframe. There was only one way to find out. So I tore into the paper wrapping. And there it was. And little did I know just how much that package would change the trajectory of my life for good. We all know the power that words have, but what about the power of one single letter? I want to share with you how one letter changed my life. Back in 2017, I was working on my first ever manuscript, and it was to be a book about my addiction recovery journey and spirituality. And as an author, I understood the power and importance of words, but I also understood how elusive and challenging they could be to find. Sometimes it felt like composing my thoughts to paper was as painful as walking down a laneway littered with Lego. And yet, in spite of that, I hit my daily word count. Until one day, I woke up and I couldn't write a single word. For 6 months, not a single letter. So what happened? What happened is I stopped seeing myself as a proper writer. Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw an imposter staring right back at me. It was as if my words, my confidence had been struck through with the red pen of small-time thinking. Who was I to share my experience? Who would care? My dad used to joke, no man is an island, Polito, except for Freddie Madagascar. And it reminded me that I had two men in my life who kept me from floating away on my own island, Dan and Mark. Dan and Mark were two friends, writer friends, and we'd meet up every few weeks, and we would support each other in our writing journeys. Dan was an ex-pastor who had shifted into becoming a published author, and he'd done well. He had a laugh that just filled the room, and he believed in living life large. Mark, on the other hand, was a poet, and he was working on a memoir close to his heart. He and I shared a fierce love of coffee, and he often spoke in hushed tones, which sometimes felt like a little verbal hug. At one meeting, I confessed, guys, I feel like a fraud. I'm not meant to be a writer. And Dan jumped in and said, no, you write because that's what you do. And Mark said, Paul, you're a writer. You write. I said, okay. Well, if I'm a writer, then I'm a writer with a little W. You see, I'd been living my life in lowercase. When you live life in lowercase, everything is small. When you live life in lowercase, everything is muted, reduced, suppressed. And whenever that bigness, that greatness tried to express itself, I would tamp it right down. That's not for you, Paulie. It's for those big timers out there. I was a small timer, small type. Until that package showed up that one day, and that shifted everything. So, what was in this mysterious parcel that kickstarted this change? It was this. It's okay, we're friends here. This big W shirt was a reminder that I was always a capital W writer. I was not to be denied that. This kind and loving gift from Dan and Mark was all that I needed to know about myself and them. All it took was one single letter to overcome a lifetime of small-time thinking. It was time for me to step into my uppercase life. You see, you weren't born to live life in lowercase. You were born to lead, align, ascend. When you live life in uppercase, you take up more space on the page. When you live life in uppercase, everything starts with you, just like every capital letter starts every sentence, every paragraph, every chapter in your life. When you live life in uppercase, don't be surprised if other people sit up and take notice. Hey, did you see who's in town? Yeah, must be the new serif. And all it takes is one thing, and I want to give you a visual so you don't forget this. What do you do when you want to capitalize a letter on the keyboard? What's the one key you need to hold while you hit the letter you want to capitalize? Anyone? Shift. So good. The shift key. To live your life in uppercase, all you have to do is shift. Shift your mindset. Shift. Shift how you see yourself. Shift your heart back to center. Are you willing to shift? Are you ready to shift? If so, all you need to do is give yourself permission to step into that uppercase life. So right here, right now, I invite you to give yourself that permission because you're worth it. Capital W, worth it.